I seemed happy. I wish she had said something. I also know it wouldn't have mattered. I was so committed to defending Keith that I would have dismissed anything anyone told me. I would have said he was just insecure, and that insecure people deserve love too, and I would have doubled down even harder. That was the trap. Keith didn't just manipulate me. He manipulated my own self-image against me. He understood that I wanted to be the kind of woman who sees past the surface, and so he built a surface that was specifically designed to activate that instinct. He made himself look harmless and humble and earnest, so that choosing him would feel like proof of my own depth. And once I was emotionally invested in that narrative about myself, the cost of seeing the truth became too high. Because seeing the truth about Keith meant admitting I had been wrong about my own judgment. That was the part that made me angriest at myself. Not that I dated him, not that I fell for the act, but that I made him my cause. I turned Keith into proof of my own values. I used my relationship with him to show the world that I wasn't shallow. Every time someone questioned it, I doubled down. I was so invested in being the kind of woman who doesn't care about looks that I ignored every signal that this man was not what he said he was. I made myself blind because being right about Keith meant being right about who I was as a person, and he knew that. He built his entire strategy around it: the persistence, the vulnerability, the harmlessness. He designed himself to be exactly the kind of man I would defend, because once I was defending him, I would never look too closely. 3 months passed. I heard through Lana that Keith's friend group had fractured. Sully cut Keith off after the screaming phone call. 2 other guys from the group distanced themselves because word had gotten around about what Keith did, and none of them wanted to be associated with it. One of them told Lana he didn't know about the playbook in detail, and that if he had known, he would have said something. I don't know if I believe that. People in proximity to manipulation usually know more than they admit after the fact. Keith was left with one friend, a guy named Terrence, who Lana said was the one who originally encouraged the whole thing. Terrence had apparently done something similar years ago with a different woman and had been coaching Keith from the start. Terrence and Keith were still close. That told me everything I needed to know about both of them. 2 men who saw women as projects and each other as collaborators. Lana also told me that Keith had started dating someone new, a woman he met through a dating app. Her name was Rochelle. Lana heard this from Sully, who still had mutual friends in the orbit. Sully said Keith was using the same approach: the persistence, the thoughtful gestures, the remembering of small details. He was 3 weeks in and already on what would have been step 6 or 7 in my version of the playbook. Sully said Terrence was coaching him through a new group chat. Same format, same updates, same step-by-step documentation. The only difference was the target. Keith hadn't learned anything. He had just recalibrated. He hadn't changed his strategy. He had just found a new target. Lana asked me if I wanted to do anything about it. Warn the woman or reach out somehow. I thought about it for a day. Then I told Lana no. I told her I couldn't spend my life chasing Keith's trail and warning every woman he dated. That wasn't my job. My job was to walk away and stay away and let whatever he was building collapse under its own weight. It always does. I went back to my life. I played tennis on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I had dinner with Zola every other weekend. I read books that had nothing to do with relationships or self-help or understanding men. I deleted every photo of Keith from my phone. There weren't many. He had only been in my life for 2 months, but somehow it felt longer. The damage of a lie isn't measured by the calendar. It's measured by how deep you let someone in before you found out who they were. I let Keith in deep. Not because I loved him. I didn't. But because I trusted him, and trust is harder to rebuild than love. I stopped defending my choices to people who asked about my dating life. If someone asked me what my type was, I said someone honest, and I left it